Opiyo Wandayi, who is the Cabinet Secretary for Energy, is now saying that Noordin Haji and NIS have no defense and that people or state officials should not talk about NIS even if it's a personal reason.
Even if we have got our own personal issues, institutions as important as the National Intelligence Service must be protected from political rhetoric. I don't think it is proper, it is fair for us to cast aspersions on an institution as important as NIS and on a public officer who has got no defense like Mr. Noordin Haji. If you have got our issues, please let's keep off these institutions that safeguard our national integrity, that safeguard our national security. Let us cushion them from cheap politics.
So how is it that the Energy Cabinet Secretary is going to defend something as brutal as NIS, which is abducting Kenyan sons and daughters? How do you, as a Cabinet Secretary, come forward and say that Noordin Haji has no defense as a state official? If he has no defense, why is he taking people from the streets, from their homes? Why is he abducting Kenyans, abducting even people who sit in the National Security Council? Can you imagine? And then now the Cabinet Secretary comes on and says we should not talk about NIS in any political arena. Guys, we, the people, we are the sovereign. We gave these institutions power. It is not the other way around. And therefore, if you give something power and it is being controlled and there are laws in the constitution that allows it to perform in a certain way and it now goes rogue, why should we keep quiet about it? Why should a cabinet secretary start defending an office which has gone rogue? It is taking people off the streets. Why should we sit around and look and say, okay, NIS is taking us from the street and therefore it has no defense, so let's not talk about it, let's be silent. Why are we silencing our own people? You are a cabinet secretary. Why are you silencing people? This guy was Attorney General. The Attorney General's son was taken from the street, someone who sits in the National Security Council. His son was taken from the street by the same organization that is run by government. And now you want him to keep quiet. You're saying even if it's personal, keep quiet about it. What sort of nonsense is this? Listen to what he said.
I don't think it is proper, it is fair for us to cast aspersions on an institution as important as NIS and on a public officer who has got no defense like Mr. Noordin Haji.
After listening to what this guy has said, does it even make sense? Why is it that all government officials want us to keep quiet? Why is it that every cabinet secretary, member of parliament that is in support of this government is saying we should keep quiet when we are being harassed? When we are being taken off the street, we should keep quiet about it. How is that even making sense? Why should an institution that the Constitution has actually given mandate to perform is going over and above its mandate and doing things that are unconstitutional, and then our cabinet secretaries are coming to our TV screens and telling us to keep quiet, telling other cabinet secretaries not to talk about it, that they are defenseless? How are you defenseless and yet you are taking people from the streets? You tell me, how does that even make sense? You're taking people from the streets. Some of them are disappearing and never coming back. And then you're telling us, keep quiet about it because these institutions are very powerful. They are security apparatus. We should not talk about it. What sort of nonsense is that? Does it even make sense to you? What sort of nonsense are we starting to subscribe to as a government, as a people of Kenya? You tell me. So guys, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio, Nick Nico 254, same name as TikTok.